corner by his, I've been on that corner before myself.
He said, "Will you come up here and sit with me so I'm not by myself?"
You are recording.
Thank you.
You ain't used to not having anybody to play footsie with. That's what it is, ain't it? Tommy's too far away. His leg's not long enough.
No, too short.
You out of work? No. Not allowed.
I'd like to call the regular work session of the Kingston City Council to order. I'd like to ask everyone to please stand. Mr. Brown will lead us in invocation, and Ms. Wright will lead us in pledge of the flag.
Thank you. Will you pray with me, please? Our Heavenly Father, once again, we come to you with grateful hearts, thanking you for the opportunity to be here as a body and to praise you and pray in the public about our Savior. We want to ask you to wrap your healing arms around those who need it, especially the city employees who are experiencing grief and sad times over the loss of loved ones just today. We want you to be with us, lead us, guide us, and direct us in the decisions that we make here tonight. And as always, we will give you praise every day. But most of all, we thank you for your Son who died on the cross. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you. You may be seated. Are there any citizens wishing to address the City Council tonight? All right, seeing none, we'll go straight into business. So, item 4, discussion of appropriation from the water sewer cash reserves to contribute toward the cost of extending water and sewer lines across the 58 bridge. In all the discussions that we've had about the cost of the water and sewer line across the 58 to get it to Southwest Point, where the golf course is, and then further extending it down, is like a $5 million project. 3 coming from the utility, Wattsbar utility. 1 is in the governor's budget, $500,000 from the county, $250,000 from the developer, and then our portion would be $250,000, which will come out of our sewer reserves. So we probably need to go ahead and get that on books that we say we're going to go ahead and move it forward. Correct?
Yes. If you guys approve that, it will, I don't know, and Kevin may have an idea what the timeline is when all this might shake out.
To be honest with you, the latest conversation that I had with Mr. Barger is not really for sure. He's still trying to go through some of the permit processes and stuff like that. And I also think that they're not 100% sure whether it's going to have to be a river bore or whether TDOT's going to give them permission to maybe hang that line on the side of the bridge.
Well, I know that's not going to happen because we went to Nashville and met with TDOT, and they will not let it hang on the side of the bridge.
Okay. So
that's why they're talking about going under the water.
Yeah. So I can tell you this: if they do have to do that river bore, I would just guess and say maybe the soonest that we could start seeing something, if it was all in place, would be probably during the fall or the winter time of the year, due to the water levels and having to do what they got to do.
Mayor, does that include, would the project include the distance from where our sewer stops to the bridge?
It's my understanding that it is. Am I right, Mr. Hamilton?
Yes, I believe so. And one other thing, I think Wattsbar's intentions are right now is just to get the water taken care of, get it over there, and then they're going to come back and address that sewer part. And I think they're going to use maybe a developer to help them on that part.
So the $5 million is just for water?
No, it's for both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for both.
Okay.
Yeah.
And our cost is $250,000, which we will make that back
Oh, yeah.
over a few years.
And just for clarification, let me clarify what I said. I think he's just gonna do the water to start off with, and the sewer's gonna come later, but that does include the whole cost of everything. He's just needing that water immediately. Is why I don't think he's gonna try to do both projects simultaneously, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. And so how would this funding work? If it's pooled money, who holds the money? How's it get paid out, since part of the project may not be done at the same time? Do we know yet?
I'm not.
I would guess, and again, I don't know, you know, if all the funds are there, you know, maybe they'll put both lines in, and then he just won't extend the sewer right away.
Yeah,
I
both
don't-
bores would probably go with the
Okay,
same.
that's what I was-
It's,
both.
that kind of got me confused.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was thinking, why would you do it twice?
Well,
Yeah.
I think both bores would go at the same
Okay.
time.
Okay.
But I think he'll just work on getting the water over, getting everything tied, and then, 3 months later, 6 months later, he'll come back and extend it with already everything in place.
You haven't been able to run the numbers on the cost from, of the sewer and water from our stopping point to the bridge, do you?
Well, actually, to be honest with you, from my understanding, there won't be, and this will come up to y'all. Y'all will have a final say on this, but I don't believe that will be any cost to us. I think they'll pick up right where it ties in.
Well, that's what I mean. If that cost is 250,000 or anywhere close to it, that, makes sense anyway, so.
Yeah, it's,
So where do you propose, so we'll put a sewer meter and we'll put a water meter somewhere between the ball field on 58 and the water treatment plant?
The water meter will probably be co-located right at the water plant, maybe just right on the other side. So right there where it
Because
comes
that's
up.
where it crosses, is right there close to the
Well,
gate.
Yeah, for the water, it'll tie on right there, and then they'll pick up and take off with it. The sewer side will actually be on the opposite side of the highway, there where you go down toward that the old
Yeah.
TWRA side. They'll tie into that main right there, and that's where the meter will set at for it.
So we don't know for sure if the developer is gonna put his 250,000 in yet?
no.
But I've been told yes.
Yeah, as far as I know, he's committed to it, but I don't know that that's in writing or any kind of contractual agreement. So I don't know what happens if he doesn't, where the other 250,000 will come from. But I don't know. I think that's a bit of a leap of faith.
So the water
with him, but-
basically now is for Watts Bar Utility.
correct.
And just to give you a little insight, they're going to be needing some large quantities of water. I don't want to put no numbers out there, but let's just say it's,
Because they're bringing it all the way from Spring City now.
well, yes and no.
Is it drying up?
Part they do bring out of Spring City, part they're bringing out of Loudon, but in conversation, they want to change that on both sides. They
Yeah.
want Kingston.
And that's the only thing that scares me about it. I sure don't want us to get in the position that year after next, that we have to enlarge the capacity of our plant just to take care. I know this is the only way that we can help our customers, maybe not today, but next year, because we have already got ourselves landlocked. There's nowhere we can go anywhere with our water. Our sewer would cost so much to go across the other bridge, across 70 Bridge, to get up in there, so.
And me and the mayor and even city managers had this conversation, and this is just me sort of forecasting into the future, y'all, and I could be wrong, I could be right. But going back to what you said, Mr. Brown, we are sort of landlocked by all utilities. I think there comes a point in time as us as a utility, maybe not tomorrow, but over the course of the next, 20 years or whatever, we need to start looking at to make our money in wholesaling water along with taking care of our customers. Had a conversation with Mr. Kofer back, I don't know, a month or so ago, and it's just like he said, most of the development in this area, most of the development in Roane County is going to happen to the east of us.
That's right.
And to the south of us. And, I think you bring up a good point when you talk about maybe having to expand our water plant. As me and David was talking about just the other day, I think there's some options there that we might not possibly have to look at building a whole brand new plant. There's a thing out there called ceramic membrane filters. It's sort of the newer thing. It doesn't take the ditches that the old style takes. Just giving you an example, I think Mr. Barger told me he's getting ready to go to some of them, and I think he said the ditches are 27 feet long and 7 feet wide, and it's going to give him a capacity of somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 million gallons. The cost of them is on the front side, but it saves you money on the back side. So I think at some point in the future, and I don't know exactly when, I think us as a board is going to have to look at that. But like I say, I think going forward, we're going to be looking more into wholesale water than we are just trying to grow our utility, expanding it from where we're at. Because
Our water plant now is what, 25 or 30 years old?
No, it's older than that.
I want to. Does 1980 sound right?
Could be.
There's a plaque there, and to be honest with you, right off the top of my head, I don't even know what it is. But like you
40
say,
years.
yeah.
Time flies, doesn't it?
You know,
You know.
one thing Kevin and I talked about, and this will probably won't happen when any of us are here, but inevitably, I think probably on the water and sewer side, capacity will eventually become a problem. You know, we'd even talked about the idea of looking to get an engineering study done to look at our capacity and with forecasted growth to kind of see what our timeline is. So if we know, you know, within 10 years or 15 years that we have to do this, we can be thinking about it. But at some point, you know, we can, and we have a lot of capacity now, but when you look at, you know, all the potential development spots around us,
Well,
if we're wholesaling water.
When we were in our build meeting the other day, we, from our traffic count at that main light, they said it was 22,000. TDOT had it at 12,000, and TDOT's study was done 4 years ago. So it's already,
There's going to be the
crazy
growth
amount of
isn't
people.
going to slow down, and so yeah, I think it's something that would be to our benefit to start studying and look into, so we're not sitting here 7-8 years from now saying, "Oh crap, we need more water."
Yeah,
So,
and just like with Watts Bar, I mean, this is not a set number, but there's the number in conversation come up at needing possibly 500,000 gallons of water a day. So, I mean, that's
and do we have that capacity now?
We do have that capacity, but as David says, if we had to do that for an extended period of time, and then we have growth from the internal side,
Right.
you know, with the pickle farm or future Dion Horton development,
Right.
then that's going to start putting us on the bubble. And another thing is and I go back and reference this a lot. As y'all know, we get a lot of water from the spring on the backside of TVA. Roughly about 500,000 gallons a day there. Well, you know, if we lost that spring or if it went dry tomorrow, we got to pick that up somewhere, and that's got to come out of that plant.
Yeah.
So, you know, taking that kind of numbers it could put us in a bubble, you know, getting us close. But then on the flip side of it, you look and say the revenue that can come in that can help us, and that we really don't have nothing in it except just producing it and sending it out.
Right. Okay.
The cost, we've already said, or we've already went into an agreement, several months ago, that we would provide sewer to Watts Bar on the extension to the campground. And then before that, 50 years probably now, we've had that agreement. Would that have to be renegotiated, or would that count? I guess what I'm getting at is it's stair step, just like the regular customers is, isn't it, on what we
Yes.
pay. So I guess I've got a question. Would they come back at a later time and say, well, this is just this way for this meter, and I'd want to lump it all together?
well, that, and I don't want to speak for city attorney, he couldn't be here tonight, but he and I have talked a little bit about this, and he's of the opinion that the agreements we have in place with them now would either have to be amended to include this new direction, or we would need separate agreements for that, because what we have is fairly specific.
To that one area.
but, you know, probably could be amended, like you said, and lump everything together, because, I mean, obviously, we're only gonna have one rate that we charge them and that sort of thing.
Okay,
so.
because I'm confused. I thought our agreement was a blanket agreement with the caveat that we approve each project.
I'd have to pull it up
Okay.
and see that language, but.
How big a hurry are we in for this?
As far as for the money,
To say we're in?
I would just think that,
Can it wait a month
yes,
to get Mr. Barger in? I mean, Stephanie brought up some good questions. Who's gonna hold the money? What happens if it goes up, if he doesn't do the sewer now? I mean, he's not even here to explain it to us. I would think that it would be advantageous for us to have just a special work session with nothing but that on it to go over, and all of us have our questions ready and have our attorney here, because there's going to have to be a lengthy, if that's the case, what he thinks, then I'm going to put them all together, I would think.
I'm all for it. It's a minimal
Yeah.
amount of money
Yeah,
for.
I'm all for it
for
too, but
the-
I just,
okay.
yeah,
Well, and you know, if, again, you know, this could be a process that plays out over a year before everybody gets their funding together.
Mm-hmm.
Just my 2 cents, I think
it's
whether
going to be 6 million.
the county or Watts Bar, whoever spearheads it, you know, I think there should be an escrow account or something with the developer, to put his money, you know, make sure that, because I'd hate for all of us to come together. I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but what if we all come together and all of a sudden
Yeah.
that 250 doesn't materialize? So
Or,
And-
like he brings up, prices go up.
Then who
what's sitting
pays the
in
difference?
bank doesn't cover the cost. And,
Yeah.
and who's coming up with the extra cash
so
flow?
it may even benefit to invite him to the meeting
I'd
as
like to
well.
have all the partners here to
Yeah,
make
everybody-
sure that we've got it. Yeah,
the county.
we're committed to this, because I know that Senator Yeager has really worked on this, and it started out being, what, 2 million or 3 million, then it dropped to $1 million, just in half,
Mm-hmm.
you know, from 1 month to the next. And then has the developer even sent any more plans? Y'all done anything as a planning committee?
No.
And I don't know, Mayor, do you know if is the county executive, did he withdraw that federal appropriation, or are they still, so
No,
that could be 2
it's-
more million
right, there's-
that potentially could come.
In a meeting we had last month with Congressman Fleischman, he encouraged the county executive to send a letter in to get some more money earmarked from the federal government. So we're still waiting on that to come through also.
Yeah, I would like to know a timeline, because if we're going to go through this build process from the Bridge to Bridge Quarter project, and this is not set up, then we need to include that in when we go when we try to go after the bigger federal money pot for the build project. If that needs to be put in there, the planning stage only lasts this year. For the rest of this year, and then next year, I believe, is the grant submittal for the next round. So that'd be the perfect time to, I mean, if nobody is able, we're not able to put this together.
Is there any ARP money left that could go toward this?
I don't know, I mean, there is money, there's certainly enough money left. I don't know if it's too late to alter the scope or not.
I think that's a question for Evan. I think most of what we have it earmarked. That's not to say that there won't be some money left over that we could. My understanding is if we wanted to, if we had any extra money left over in ARPA, we could put it toward projects that we already had it earmarked for, and there would be no questions asked. But if we change something, I think we have to take it back through the whole process. But that would be possibly a question that we just need to get an answer from Evan on, to be exact.
I was
on it.
thinking, I remember somewhere that they would pay for existing but not expansions.
I feel like I remember that too.
It does seem like I remember something about
But
that.
I was just wanting to ask, just to,
I know they're very big on collaborations, which obviously this would be, but with it being an expansion, I don't know that, but we can get an answer to that prior to next month's
Okay.
workshop.
Yeah.
And you want me to go ahead and invite the county and
Yeah, if we
WBUD?
can. It's that way we can get everybody in the room. And, you know, we may to just do it, I know it has to be a public meeting, but we may be able to do it like just as a meeting instead of on that Tuesday night. So we'll see. We'll get together and see who's can be there. And especially with like Tony's brought up some good questions of the view about who's gonna hold the money. You know, we know that the state money's not gonna get here till after July 1.
Yeah, how are they gonna go about, you know, saying that something's due or something's gotta be paid for?
Yeah.
You know,
And I think that comes from Mickey Barger and Wattsboro Utility District.
Yeah.
Cause it's their project.
okay.
You know, I don't know when the federal budget passes. Is it October? Or do they ever pass the
Keep-
budget?
they keep,
They don't ever
Have they
pass
ever
one.
passed the budget? But you know, what if we all committed this money and then all of a sudden $2 million comes from the federal government? Can we get reimbursed? You know, there's a lot of questions like that would be interesting to know. So
timeline would be helpful.
Well, some of them have been known to earmark money for their districts and then vote against it, and then go wear the golden shovel and the white hat.
Any other questions? We'll get some more clarification on that, but I did want to go ahead and bring it up tonight so we get to be talking about it.
Yep.
Okay. Number 5 is continued discussion of filling the term vacated by council member Childs. So I'm going to take a bite from the county and the way they did their last appointment. We have 3 people right now, Levi Langford, Philip Martin, and Michael Greenwell that have put in letters that they are interested in the position. And the way the county did it when they filled, when they had Miss Hamilton, is they had the ones that had put in for it come up, speak 3 minutes, and then go into nominations, and then voted on it that way. So
All
this-
during regular meeting?
yeah, well, I
Okay.
think they did theirs at a pre-meeting. They did a special call
called meeting.
before their regular meeting.
Okay.
I don't know if we wanted to do a special call at 6 o'clock and do that.
How heavy's the agenda?
Depends on what we finish here in a little while.
That's not a good answer.
I'm sorry, that's all I can give you now.
Now, see, well, we've got the term, sewer is being put off.
Should be just about 2 or 3 items unless we
Yeah,
have
I
some
don't see it a heavy.
second reading.
Yep.
What you do is the first item on the agenda, and then whoever
Go into regular.
swear them in, they take their seat.
Yeah, we'll do it that way. If
Do we
anybody's-
plan on swearing them in that night and seating them?
It's up to you. You certainly could.
Yeah.
You would have that right if that's what you wanna do.
I mean, we've not done it that way in the past, but it can be done any way we want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just asking.
That's a good idea.
Okay, all right, so that's, we'll put that on the agenda to do that first, on Tuesday night.
So they give their 3 minutes and so does everybody get put on?
Nominations will come from us,
Okay.
or from you guys, and then it doesn't have to be just these 3 that can be nominated. You can nominate
Anyone, right.
anybody. That's just the 3 that we're interested in, and there might be someone else out there that you want to nominate
Mhm.
over these 3, so that's
Okay.
where that's at.
All right.
All right, is there any other questions?
Still doing the vote the same way as we've done in the past?
Yes, you'll call the roll, and they'll say the name of the person that,
That's what I was asking, yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna instruct Ms. Kelly to send those candidates, I mean, there's 2 here tonight that's listening to us. So you're gonna send something to the candidates and tell them to be here bright and early and
yes.
and be prepared to address the council and vote immediately thereafter.
I believe Ms. Jackson will take care of that. Am I correct? I volunteer her for a lot of stuff. That's why I
We're
get.
volunteering people for
I
stuff.
can't help
Thank
it.
you.
Okay.
I'm gonna nominate her for council if y'all.
I'm coming to live with you because I can't work here.
Well, I need somebody.
All right. Discussion recommending the appointment of the council representative of Rockwood Electric Utility Board. That's something we'll also need to bring up Tuesday night, and we'll add it to the agenda and have a nomination from this council, and then we'll vote on it. Any other discussion on that one?
I have a question,
Yes,
if I could, Mayor, just going back to item 5. If you do decide you want to swear them in that night and seat them, who do we need to have here to do that? To do this, do we need to,
It's gotta be a notary.
Gotta be a notary.
that's all? that's
Doesn't
the
have
only-
to be me, but I can print out what, wing it, I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't know if
Or if the
Mr.
judge-
Thompson's a notary or
Yeah,
not.
I don't know
I know Sandy was, cause I know he swore me in once.
No, Sandy's let his go.
Well, I knew he had now, cause you can't get him to do nothing law-wise now.
Yeah,
Well,
I just didn't know if we
sometimes they
needed to
do
get
honorary,
a judge
then I would
here.
go in there and do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I didn't know if we needed to get the city judge here to do it.
If we do it that night, I think if I was being sworn in, I would want it, not that Kelly and the attorney are not official, the black robe and stuff, in case they wanted to take pictures and all that kind of stuff. I think
I
that's
agree.
I think that's just a good touch.
I could ask her we can ask her to be here.
That'll be fine. Okay. We don't have to do it
have
that
to.
night.
We'll just be voting one member short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's like-
it's whatever you guys wanna do. It doesn't matter to me. We can do it that night, or we can wait and do it.
Can I speak, yield just a minute? Miss Hamilton, they swore you in the night you were elected and you took your seat,
Yes, sir, according to state law, TCA code, yes.
but that was for, okay, thank you.
That was the same when I got appointed to
Yes.
county commission.
I had to resign my school board seat before the next meeting, so.
Okay. Any other questions on those two appointments? All right, continue discussion of ordinance 2303-1202, an ordinance amending the annual budget for the city of Kingston, Tennessee, fiscal year 2023-24, and ordinance 2403-1203, an ordinance amending the annual budget for the city of Kingston, Tennessee water and sewer fund for the fiscal year 23 and 24. Ms. Kelly?
I tried to explain everything thoroughly in my memo. I don't know if y'all remember this, but we are getting a bucket truck. and, and we did get an invoice and they wanted payment prior to delivery. So, you know, if some of y'all recall, we did reserve some money for that and we're going to take the remainder out of fund balance. We also, you all agreed to the fire truck, the $80,000 for that. We take out of fund balance. The community center has the projects that are going on and we've had to add an emergency sewer for Southwest Point to that as well. Then we've just had some other loose ends we're tying up. Glad Park, we had $2,500 we needed to cover for that project. I'm having to amend, the police department is replacing the drone we lost last year, so the insurance recovery money is covering that. And the rest of it is ARPA, where we're having to do our TDEC match for the water budget. So I can answer any questions, but I tried to detail.
So the bucket truck,
Mm-hmm.
we bought it 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We ordered it 2 years ago.
Yes.
So if you order something and it takes them over 2 years to get it to you, you still have to pay $44,000 more than what you were told?
No, it was originally 130 some odd dollars, and yes, there has been an increase. I suppose, which probably is manufacturing inflation and things like that. But the only reason there was only 101 put aside is because if we go back to the minutes, we had, when we got our new 2021 loan, we had money left that was supposed to pay the old loan payments that we didn't have to pay at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And I came to y'all and said, hey, I've got $101,000. Do y'all want
Oh,
me to
okay.
reserve that? And I just was thinking, if we've already appropriated it, let's set it
Yeah,
aside.
because I can't remember what we were quoted for the price of the truck back then.
It was,
134 sounds right.
34,
136.
35.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
not
that's
bad.
what we had the purchase order for, was about that amount right there.
And if you look back, I went back and looked at it, it was, that quote that they gave us was good for 90 days.
Well, but we took them up on the offer within
Yeah,
those
but-
90 days. So
Yeah.
that's why I don't.
But I'm sure if we don't want it, that they'll,
Oh, heck
they can sell
no.
it.
Bring it.
I say we pay the extra and just give
Yeah.
it.
We got a couple more years to play, don't we, Tony?
yeah, I just think that's kind of petty for them to want their money before it gets here, though,
I know, but.
with us waiting 2 years.
But I
for
wasn't
this
gonna hold off. I decided to add it to this amendment and let's get it taken care of.
And, Mr. Mayor, just one other thing. I read these things. Sometimes I think she puts something in there that's wrong so I can, to see if I'll catch it. But, I really, really, really appreciate this coming monthly instead of yearly and us sitting there and I don't have a clue
of what it is.
Agreed.
At least this way, the way we've changed in the last few years, she keeps up with it every month. I know some of us may get tired of looking at them, but if you look at them, I think she's doing a good job with it, Mr. City Manager. And
Well, if I don't
and I
keep
appreciate
up with it line by line by line every month,
Yeah.
then
It'll
how
be
do
on-
you keep up?
it'll
How
be
do
on
you
a-
keep
It'll
up?
be on a
So,
piece of paper in the left-hand drawer of the desk.
and May and June will be the last amendment, so those could be fierce depending on how things go.
We've had longer ones before.
Yeah.
But, yeah, thank you. Any other questions, Mr. Brown?
No, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Discussion of increasing municipal court costs. Chief Warsham.
We are asking for an increase in court costs, and the simplest explanation I can give you is that I've been here 37 years.
Come a little closer.
I've been here 37 years, and we've never increased our citations. The cost of living going up from 1987 comparison, gas was 96 cents a gallon. Bread was 54 cents a gallon. Eggs was 86 cents a gallon. A Ford Crown Vic police package was $12,500. Now, $12,500 don't even buy us the equipment to go inside a vehicle.
So at the end of this ordinance, just talking about the speeding ticket prices for other cities around us.
Yes.
Okay.
We are considerably low on that side.
Okay.
And we don't write tickets to generate revenue, but it does put more money in the pot that Mr. Bowman can appropriate to the police department, fire department, and the rest. And it keeps our city safe.
How much is it now?
$138.75.
So you're not going up that much to the $150 is the point.
Tommy Gwynn started here in 1981 as a patrolman, and that's what the cost of the ticket was then.
I started in 71 and it was 49 something.
I knew that was coming. All right. Is there any discussion on us raising this cost on this ordinance?
Put it on the.
Okay. All right, we'll put it on the agenda. All right. Thank you, Chief. All right, now we'd go into something, figuring out when we're gonna do a budget. Here, budget meeting.
So we're close to sending you out a draft agenda, preliminary agenda. I think you should probably, good chance you may have that by the end of the week. So we're just kind of putting the finishing touches on that, and once you get it in your hands, it's obviously it's your call. Whenever you're ready to have the meeting, we'll be ready. So.
And the question I would have is, do we want to have this meeting during the day or at night?
If I have enough notice, I can take off work. I would prefer it during the day.
I'd like to do it like on a Friday afternoon. Do what?
Friday afternoon?
Well,
Friday morning,
not this
maybe
coming
not
Friday.
afternoon.
Well, hey, I'm just throwing suggestions out there. There's 5 other people in here to make decisions. I just need to know which one. I can be there anytime.
What month are we talking?
I'd want to go ahead and do it in April if we could.
Hypothetically, if you did it in April, you have the first reading in May, second reading in June. Budget's passed, so that if you did it that way, at least it would save having to have a special call meeting for one of the readings.
About a week from this coming Friday. I'll be gone the third week later.
Okay, that's the 19th. 26th or the 12th.
The
So the
26th
12th
or
or
the
the
12th.
26th, if you're gonna be gone the 19th.
I'll be gone that Tuesday.
Right, but she's saying, do you want the 12th or do you want the 26th?
Yeah, 12th or 26th works for me too.
How about 26th at,
26th.
yeah, like 9 o'clock? Would that be okay? Yeah.
Is that before the 17th?
No, it's after.
26th
Oh, good, that, oh.
at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
So 9 o'clock in the
Good luck.
morning.
Don't miss it, I'll be here.
What day of the week is
It's on Friday.
So that, the problem with that would be, let's say our packets go out, and if we had it in the workshop, I mean, not that it has to go in the workshop necessarily, but, you know, we need it. We can make that work. I mean, if you all want it.
Can we do it on
You
a
have
Thursday?
workshop, there's no need for it to be on the workshop agenda for the,
It shouldn't have to be on the workshop agenda for May if we're, you know,
well.
no, you're right, you're wrong. The packets will go out the next
30th
Friday.
The 30th is a Tuesday.
Yeah.
So we got an extra week. So
Right.
forget I said that.
Hallelujah.
So that's perfect.
So 26, 9 a.m.
Yes, and we will make sure,
In the room in here, so he can blackboard, or in here?
we can do it in there.
Public meeting, if y'all want it recorded, it has to be in here.
I mean, yeah, we can do it in here. We can pull stuff up on the new TV and see if it works.
He can.
Yeah, that'd be good. Okay. All right. So that's all we got on the agenda, so I'll go around and see if anybody's got anything else. Miss Johnson, do you have anything?
Not tonight.
Miss Wright?
Taylor, are you gonna talk about the public meeting? Okay, the Build Bridge to Bridge Corridor Project first public meeting is April 30th at the community center. Hopefully, what's going to entail in this public meeting is we're gonna go over, they have broke down that corridor into like 6 different sections, and we kind of brainstorm as a board, of what changes need to be in each section, and I'm assuming they're gonna put those same options up, for the public to see and to provide input on.
Okay.
So, what time? Okay, there it is. April 30th, 6 p.m. at the community center, and this will be the first public meeting.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
Anything else you got? Okay. Mr. Brown, do you have anything?
I've got 2 or 3 little things here. First, I wanna brag on the city manager and Kevin and his crew. I know he sent out an email, but if you've not been to the ball field, the confusion and the inconvenience and stuff, at the end of last year's season, the sewer, all that's on septic tank field line. Evidently, the field line's crushed and inoperable, and sewage was running out on the ground, and we had fenced it off, pumped it. Everything worked well during the off-season, and we get into the season this year, and it happened again 2 weeks ago. They got the city manager went ahead, and I think he sent y'all out a thing about the emergency money to be spent for a pumping system and have the parking lot board. The board's complete, Kevin. I don't wanna take away from you, but I went out there this morning, and it wasn't in, went out this afternoon, it was in. So, they did a good job of getting it in. Didn't look like it went wild and didn't lose the head. Didn't come up through the parking lot, so I guess we're still waiting on the saddle. So, again, good job. The porta potties work good, but there's something about us utilizing our own restroom facilities. If you were by there last night, big game last night, and if it hadn't rained them out, they'd have a big crowd up there tonight too. So hopefully we can get all that back up and running. We had our, that big word that I can't pronounce. So I always just call it the birthday party for Kingston, the 225th. For those of you watching on the internet, we are gonna be, having a big festivity during the month of October. Our actual birthday is on the 22nd?
Third.
23rd, which is on a Wednesday, and Tim's got all kind of people that he's invited, political people. We're trying to make a big deal out of it. But we've decided that we're gonna have, bring the 4th of July, parade back again just because of that. It's gonna be on the 4th of July. The theme's gonna be red, white, and blue. We're gonna use some of the Kingston treasures as the, bearers of the city banners and stuff. What I really want you all to do is make sure that you mark off and that you got a lot of time, because we're gonna ask for your help during the month of October. With Ms. Hamilton's help through the schools, we've got essay contests, we've got poster board contest, we've got, the high school senior class art class. We met with them down at the
community center the other day, and they're actually with Jack's help out at the fort. And if you want to know anything about the fort, go ask him. Be prepared to stay for a day and a half because he'll tell you the history from all the way from the muddy banks of the Mississippi to the hilltops of the snow-capped Smoky Mountains. But he's gonna give them some pictures, and they're actually going to canvas the photos, and we're having a contest for that. And we're gonna display them. We've reserved the old council room at the community center, which is gonna be our hall, and we'll have everything that people are gonna let us do, because we were afraid that if we tried to have everything, we're gonna have some of it at the fort, but out there it would cover up everything else we've got. And we didn't know how quick the switchover is gonna be
Yeah, we don't know.
for out there. So anyway, long story, we have costumes, period costumes, that
They
we want,
dressed up at the first one, or
yeah,
the.
that we want you all to wear.
Tony.
And be part of giving the tours.
I did it in
we're trying
99.
to have horse and buggy type deals with a tour back and forth. We need volunteers at the old courthouse and we'll give you a script. One day you're telling about the fort, the old fort being the capital of a day in the city. Talk about the cannon we've got, all that kind of stuff. So be prepared. We'll be asked you for a sizing meeting one night to get the tailor to make sure they tuck and fit everything just right. And it's gonna be a big deal now, so everybody get ready when we call upon you. It's budget time, and I know that we've already had I hope that everybody goes by the regulations and things that we go by. It's probably already past the date to put in for people soliciting wanting free money from the city, according to our rules and our organizational rules. Just thinking about saving a little extra money, it really bothers me that I don't think we have a local newspaper anymore. It moved from Kingston, it moved to Rockwood. It went from 50 cents 3 days a week to $1. I think it's $1 and something. I don't get $1.50 maybe for 1 day a week. I think you can ask Kelly or the city manager. I think it really puts us in a bind to try to put our notices and our meetings the way I understand it. And I was going to ask the attorney tonight, but he's got toothaches. But the way I've researched, I think they've changed that law that now that we have a up and going, updated, sophisticated website that we can post everything that we've been posting in the newspaper and on TV that we can do on our own now. Mm-hmm. We do it anyway, so why are we paying somebody else to come down and do that? So I don't know how much savings that would be. I'm guesstimating $20,000 to $25,000 with a combination of both of them to put it on. I mean, they don't even have a reporter here anymore. They do it off our video. So I just think, I know that Harriman has done it, and I know that the city of Oak Ridge has done it. I researched, the only thing I thought they'd keep us from doing if it was actually in the charter, and I couldn't find it where it said that. It just said that it has to be publicized.
There was something, but I think we took it out.
I think we did too.
I think it had something to do with, it was either the BZA or the Planning Commission. We took it out. We said newspaper and just said media.
So, I guess that's all I've got. Thank you.
For the savings, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Brown. Mr. Quinn, do you have anything? No. Mr. Redwell? Mr. Bowley?
I'm going to have something here. Just a few things. First of all, several of you probably there. We had Street Fest. Just had that. The weather wasn't great. It's always kind of hit or miss in the spring. It got a little better throughout the day, but Parks and Rec staff did a great job putting that together. The vendors seemed to be happy. All things considered, we've talked about maybe looking at some ideas for next year to freshen that up. We've had that format for several years, and things kind of get stale after a while, but all in all it was a good day, and I thought the staff did a really good job putting everything together and cleaning up afterwards. Just a reminder, we're a little bit away from it, but brush pickup's coming up. I think that's the week of May 6th is when it starts, so people can keep that in mind. Also, you probably got an email, but the fire department will be flushing hydrants this month and next. So be on the lookout for that. And finally, I just want to brag for a second on Kevin and his guys. We had late last week, I guess it was Thursday. Wednesday night into Thursday, had probably the most complicated water leak that I've ever seen. I think we got on scene about 10:30, and you all found it at about 5 o'clock the next morning. So it was a challenge to say the least. But they, as they always do, they got it fixed, got everything back up and running, and by the time the affected people got up to go to work, they had water again. So they did a great job on that. Just want to congratulate them and thank them for that. And that's all I have.
Any questions for the city manager?
Mr. Mayor, I just got a text from my buddy in Morgan County, my umpiring buddy. Just keep those folks up in Morgan County in thoughts and prayers. Either a tornado or a straight wind has hit in Sunbright, and Highway 27 has been shut down, and it looks like it may have destroyed the funeral home.
Oh. Yep. They seems to be. Mr. Hamilton, do you have anything else?
Thank you, David, for the kind words. Just to echo what Tony said, we are on the sewer project out there. The bore is in. We got the pump in. Going to have to go back due to the lines being a little bit deeper coming out of the building than what we anticipated. We're going to have to put a riser on that pump. That should be here on Tuesday. And then the only other thing that we'll have left to do is make that tap, and we'll be up for business. Been in conversation with JR about getting the electrical and everything up. So hopefully, don't hold nobody to it, but I hope within the next week and a half to 2 weeks, we'll have bathrooms operational and ready to go out there for the future.
Thank you.
And that's all I've got.
Ms. Kelly, do you have anything else? Ms. Jackson's on you next. You got anything?
Nope.
I don't have anything else. Anybody anything else to talk about?
The food trucks will be back tomorrow,
I think so.
right?
It's every other week.
Every other week.
Every other week?
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah,
I was thinking every Wednesday too.
They decided to draw the session out longer and maybe would make it an even bigger crowd for them
Okay.
if they did it every other week instead of every week.
Okay.
Although they always had good crowds, they're just trying to. I think they're going into more cities, so they're having.
I think so too.
They're having to add to their
Looks good.
schedule.
There wasn't, I also noticed Court Street was, there were cars on, and they usually shut down Court Street. Put some trucks on there, but it wasn't this last time.
I don't know, I have no idea.
All right, that's it. This meeting's adjourned.